Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. And hopefully you guys, I'm on my game today. What can I say? The video today I want to talk about is really something that was something that they're playing this. Hold on real quick. They're playing this. I'm trying to form a thought and I keep hearing myself. We got Archie and Mike here, and we're getting ready for the Whatnot live, and they're watching the live, and it's like on echo mode, so I apologize. But no, the Profit Playbook podcast over the weekend was one of those moments where you just sit back and just let it soak in, right? And I don't know if you've watched this last weekend's episode of the Profit Playbook podcast, but we didn't really have a whole lot to say. Josh, Beard, myself, we just sat back and just soaked all the knowledge in. Now, if you haven't watched it, we had Ebert. That's what he goes by on YouTube. But his name is Bert, and he is a former executive from eBay UK. I believe it was the advertising department or something of that nature. But he was really in touch with the other departments. Oops, I'm all over the place today. He was really in touch with the other, I got everything falling all over me. But he was really in touch with the other departments, like the search team. And he really, because he was always a reseller while he worked there, he was always trying to learn and get the best practices and stuff like that. So we had a really good episode over the weekend, and it really got me to think, based on what he said about your customer service, your level of customer service, how you're treating your buyer. Now, to me, you're either on one side of the spectrum or the other. Either you're on top of your customer service, you're replying as fast as you can to messages that come across, you handle your returns in a timely manner, within the time that eBay, and some people were like, well, they don't give me much time. Talk about that here in a second. But maybe you want to do 3-day shipping instead of shipping it out as soon as you can to deliver that good customer service. Or you're on the other side, and it's, I want to resell, but I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to deal with people. I just want to sell my stuff. So you have that in the back of your mind. Maybe you don't have the experience of dealing with people. Maybe it's just not having the skill set, and therefore you are customer adverse, where you're not handling the things in a timely manner, or you're not being proactive. Like, for instance, let's say one thing that Mike Camparelli, he's been doing while he's been out here in Vegas, he has his time away set, but he still has 20 some odd sales. And he's sending a message as soon as the sale is made. He's sending a message to his buyer. It could be a canned message, it could be the same message to everyone, but he's sending the message to his buyer saying, hey, I'm not going to be back until this date, and I'll be shipping it then. I just want to make sure you're okay with that. And the number of responses that he got back from his buyer were positive, affirmative. They were fine with it. And I think they appreciate that, right? Just like, how many of you guys have replied back to a buyer very fast on a message? And how many have received that, wow, thank you for getting back to me so fast. That was fast, right? I get that all the time. And number one, it's because they're not used to being replied to quickly, so they appreciate it when it does happen. And number two, it sets the tone. They don't know you from Adam, and now you're setting, it's that first impression. Right. So now they can maybe feel more at ease about the transaction, because this seller's on top of it. He answers my questions fast. He ships fast, does all the things fast, and his feedback maybe backs that up. And now if you're having good sales versus bad sales, that could be one of the reasons why that's happening. And that may be one of the reasons why, your conversion rate, and then that PPP episode I keep talking about, and Primo keeps talking about, does mention that's probably one of the most important things is your conversion rate. And if you're not focused on how do I find ways to get buyers to pull the trigger once they're in my listing, then you might be losing out, because if your listing is just average, how do you get your listing to separate from the others? And one thing I've tried to do, add that little 20-second video about how my store is, and basically the things I would ask them to look for. Check out the item description, look at the photos, and ask questions before they buy. Also, that public coupon, I think that is very important. They're in your listing, and then they see that they can save even more. That might push them over the top. So I just think right now as sellers, we need to find ways, and it's not about customer retention. We need to find ways of getting that buyer to, it's like going fishing. You get your line out there, you're getting bites. That's every time someone checks out your item, right? That's a page view, but you're not setting the hook. There's something you need to do to get that bite into a fish on, right?
You're closing the sale.
Right. And we're not there on the listing, but what can you do to your listing? Could be your price, could be your photos, could be a whole lot of things that you're doing, could be what you're saying in your listings. I know, like, for instance, Bert was talking about how he interacted with his buyers, and he would, because he sells cat toys, he would talk in terms of cat lingo, like, instead of, you can't wait to get your hands on this, he'll say, bet you can't wait to get your paws on this, or something like that, right? And people that are in that world or in that mindset appreciate that kind of thing. Now, I haven't been able to figure out what to do about toilet seats. You can't wait to get your ass on one of these. But what I'm saying is, it may not work for everything, but you're trying to find ways to separate yourself, because in my opinion, and this is always what it's been, it's about competition. And if you're that same lousy seller that they're expecting to get, right, you might get that lousy feedback. But if you set the tone from the beginning to the end, and if something bad happens along the way, well, guess what? They might be more forgiving. That negative could be a neutral. Or how about this? Maybe you put a little card in your packages, right, where nobody else does. And hey, if there's any problems, let me know first. Maybe they reach out to you before they just think that they have no recourse and then just go and leave a negative. So there's ways as sellers that we can do this. Now, I know there's a lot of people that think, well, eBay balances it. It's always in the buyer's favor. Well, think about it. Why wouldn't it be? If the eBay was to have to make a choice between the buyer or the seller, sorry, seller, you're out of here, because there's always more sellers to replace you, and we need the buyers, because without the buyers, us sellers are just sitting here listing things and never shipping anything. So we really need to understand, like, when they give the buyer 35 days to ship something back, they're doing it because they want to create a low effort buying experience for the buyer. They don't want to put them under the gun saying, hey, you got 3 days to postmark this thing, because these people are not sellers. They're not set up. Their lives don't revolve around their eBay purchase the way as sellers, our lives revolve around what we're selling. And they have to make it as easy as possible for these buyers to not only return your item, but think, hey, that was easy, and I can come back and do this next time and not have to worry about it. As for you sellers, they're figuring, hey, this is their livelihood, or they're supplementing their income. They're treating all sellers like business sellers, and they expect you guys and us to be on top of it. And it may not seem fair, but we have to embrace that. We need to be on board with it. We need to support it, that this is the way it is. And we need to find ways to be more buyer focused in everything we do, even taking on new things, as putting a little video snippet in your listings like I've been doing, or maybe putting a card or sticker in your packages to thank them for their purchase. And it may not, like I said, be about customer retention. You may be an everything seller like me. It's great if you're a niche seller, because you can try to get them back. But if you're an everything seller like me, it's more about, I want them to feel. It's about feel. We've talked about that. I want the buyer to feel good about buying from me, because I'm treating your customer right now, and I want you to treat that customer when they come back the same way, so that maybe they'll come back and buy from me. But that one seller along the way that screws this up and makes it a bad experience, we might have lost a customer that we all need. So that's why it's very, very important. So that's me on my 10-minute diatribe. Hopefully that resonated with some of you guys. Pair that, what I said, with the content on the Profit Playbook podcast. And we are going to have Bert back on the Profit Playbook podcast. I'd say second week of November is what we're shooting for. So we have James this week, and then we have probably nobody the following week. And then Bert will be back with the Profit Playbook podcast. And it's important that you go watch the first video and ask any questions that you have. And I'm going to pick out the best 3 or 4 because he likes to talk. So we probably going to get 3 or 4 in. But he will also be on this program a week from today. So we're going to have Bert, Ebert, on this program as a guest, and you'll be able to pick his brain. But I think he wants to have like a normal conversation because he did really speak a lot in the last one, which is fine, but he wants to have more of a conversation. So one thing I also want to tell you is if you're watching the live, we're going to probably do this for about an hour and a half today instead of our normal 2 hours, because I need to get ready we're having a whatnot today, and something I keep talking about, I've been talking about, and I'll share this with you here. We're doing our whatnot, and it's at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Now, it's probably going to be for about an hour. That's kind of how we have it planned. I have a lot of, I thought it was pretty darn good stuff, like clothing, men and women's clothing, that I've been just kind of sitting on waiting to list. And, you know, with me and clothing, we don't really sell, we don't get along. I mean, I buy stuff to sell with the intention of selling, but it's, I gravitate more towards the electronics and the home goods that I have rather than listing these items. So, you know, might be able to get a good deal, but go on over after the live, and if you can, to support the auction. And then we're going to have, after that, we're going to have Mike Camparelli. He's going to do whatnot for the things that he's been able to pick up here in Vegas. And then Archie's going to follow him after he's done. So we're going to go take our crowd from here, raid my auction, if you guys are compelled to do so. And then we're going to go over to Mike's and then Archie's. And if you can support us, we'd certainly appreciate it. It's one of those things that, you know, without the number of people watching and kind of getting involved, then we really don't, I mean, we're just, might as well just have a mirror doing this. So hopefully that's something that you guys can do. So let's see who we have today. We got Shannon Greenlaw first at 2:54 p.m. Eastern time. Wow. That's like right after I put my notifications out. So thanks. That's awesome. I've been checking Effie's whatnot for the show. Yeah, it took me a minute to get it up there, but it's there. And Shannon's going to miss the live. I have to take my daughter to last minute trunk or treat. Oh, that's right. Thursday. Or you could have gone to Walmart, bought her a bag of candy and said, let's just like split the difference here if you want to dress up. It's not as fun. Carla Olson says, put in my thumbs up early. Maybe I can get 2 sales. Yes. Thanks for being here. Mike Camparelli, he's in a far place. Hello, beautiful family. I'm still in Vegas time, but sadly the last time until March. Want to thank John, Jenna, Archie, and the rest of the community who made me feel so at home during my stay. Well, you're always welcome here, Mike. We enjoy having you. That's for sure. Mike says, Shannon John will be starting his Whatnot show immediately after the live ends. Hope to see you there. And we say immediately after. I'd like to get this thing, this live done about a half an hour early so that we can kind of get our bearings. A little bit of get our bearings. Mike says, on the topic, find that being proactive regarding customer service, I'm ahead of the game in getting the buyer on my side. Something goes wrong, the buyer is more apt to be civil about the problem. That has always been my experience when you're dealing with customers. And so there's like different layers of dealing with customers. You have the customers that if you work in an environment where they come into your like brick and mortar, you're face to face, that's the first level. The second level is telephone. So you're still talking to them, right? You can hear their voice and all that. And then you have the third level, which is through text or messages, right? And the reason, in my opinion, why the third level is the most difficult is because you can type up as nice of a reply or message to the buyer, and the buyer still doesn't get to hear your tone, right? Whereas The second level, you're on the phone, they can hear your tone, but they can't see the face that you're making. And then in person, I mean, you get all of it. You get the nonverbal clues and all that. So it's a little bit more difficult to communicate with someone when you are dealing with the way eBay wants us to communicate. And you just got to find a way, find as friendly of, no matter what the situation is. They can come at you cursing at you, but you really need to find a way to be as professional and as just overly nice to your buyers as you can. It may feel gross, right? You might feel like this sucks. I don't want to, this is not how I feel. This is not what I'm thinking. I don't want to deal with this person. But trust me, if you want your experience of selling on any platform to be easier, you got to treat these people like gold, even when they don't deserve it. And that's the toughest hurdle that people have to get around. Even when we were dealing with this at Amtrak, you know, these people, sometimes they don't deserve it. Sometimes you are dealing with bad people, but you have to get past that and to give them the best level of service. And just know that it's all about making your job easier for yourself in the long run. Brenda Smith says, hello, everyone. I'll have to watch the live tomorrow. Basketball for oldest grandson tonight.
Ooh, good luck.
Awesome. Vicky's with us. Thanks for being
Vicky.
here. Pitco, definitely not first, but I'm in. That's
Yay.
All you need to be is there. You got there quite early. Hi, John and Jenna. In the chat, I was just thinking the stream is early tonight, but then remembered the clocks went back an hour here. Wow, they went back an hour.
Ours go back the first Sunday of November.
November, right. I wish they would just get rid of it all, really, to be honest with you. Just set a time and, you know, be done with it. Andy's not first. He normally isn't, but at some point, you know, some point we'll get you first.
One day, Andy, one day.
Pitco, John Scott, Josh, Burt, thank you for that Profit Playbook podcast. Watched it, took notes, and applied it to my account, and I have already seen an upturn. Amazing stuff.
That's awesome.
So, you know, we've been focusing on things like promoted listings, right? And yeah, you can. It's sort of like the same thing as having, you know, subscribers on YouTube. If you have subscribers on YouTube that never watch your videos, YouTube holds that against you. You know, and of course, not one person, but if you have, let's say, half of your subscribers just never tune in, you're kind of going to get buried. And I think that's maybe what happened with my channel, why I haven't grown so much. But same thing happens with eBay. You can over promote, and you're basically driving a lot of traffic without any page views / conversions. And eBay's looking at you, comparing it to the other stores that are getting the conversions. And who do you think they're going to want to promote higher in search? Because putting those stores on page 2 doesn't make sense if they have a better chance of converting the sale. So it's just so important that you start looking at things a little differently than you have. Jimmy D, John, we have something in common. The Cowboys and Raiders both suck. Yeah, you know, it's weird. The Cowboys played last year about this time in San Francisco, and I went to that game, and they got killed. And my buddy sent me a message saying, yeah, they're playing again. I got tickets. I'm going back. So he went to the game last night in San Francisco again. And I told him, insanity, huh? And he's like, what? I said, yeah, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. It was the same result. They got crushed. Duncan, you can't do it.
You can do it.
Jimmy D, seriously, great PPP show on Saturday. Real informative. Well, awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It got almost as much. Well, it probably will by the time we get to next week's episode. It's probably going to get as more views than the one with Kevin Commonwealth on there. So it was really popular, and I knew it would be. When we're halfway through, you know, I'm thinking to myself, we normally take an hour. There's no way I'm ending this at an hour. We wanted to get as much as we could out of it, and it was an hour and a half. So Glenda Bavona, hi, John and Jenna, plus all the great FAE family. Nice to see you.
Glenda.
We got Gail Carlson. Thank you for being here. I don't have the sound on my card, but I do have it there. So nice to see you. And of course, it likes to play over and over again by default. I don't understand why it does that. Let's see. Gail says, hope everyone had a good weekend.
Yes.
Well, it was as good as it has been. It's been better with
I feel
sales.
like it came. It seriously came and went.
Yeah, we've been very busy. The yard sales, we hit on some yard sales. We didn't have as good a luck this time. It was kind of a dud. We're going to the different locations for the yard sales, but I've come to three conclusions about the yard sales. And number one, you have people, and I've said this before, but number one, you have and we were in an older community. Everyone has a sense of their item. If they've used it 5 times or less, it's still new. Number two is they had half the yard sales have printouts for their items from eBay, and it may not even be sold comps. It probably isn't sold comps. It's like some yahoo that wants the highest price on his item. And they think, oh wow, it's worth that. Let me print it out to make everyone think. It's kind of their way of maybe leveraging the sale, so you don't go ask them for to buy it for $2. And the third thing that is happening is I've noticed that people are spending more time getting their signs all fancied up and all over the place than spending that time making their yard sale an attractive sale. So they get all these yard sale signs up all over the place. So you're like, oh, this is a good one. They put it in the app. So you're thinking, oh, big, huge yard sale. And you go and there's one table set up with baby stuff. And you got to be shitting me right now. This is not the yard sale that you advertised. So it's kind of, that's the way it was this weekend. And it's been that way, I think. Prior it was pretty good, but it's been that way for the most part. People and those community sales.
There's just an overwhelming amount of baby shit.
Yes.
Toys, clothes, you name it. I'm not interested. I don't. As soon as we see baby stuff, we just keep going.
Just slow down, turn the lights off, and just do the drive-by. So, Pot G Graham says, anyone got a good late night thrift spot or like a parts store? I've been doing good selling parts, but the only place I can think of is the Rehome store. So now, when you say Rehome, that's the thrift store. I'm sure that might be the equivalent of what we call a thrift store. They normally don't stay open late. We're talking 5 o'clock p.m., 6 p.m. most thrift stores. Yard sales. But I think if you're overseas in the UK, I think yard sales are really a phenomenon that us people in the US know about, that the rest of the world just either, I guess, doesn't have because we're a really materialistic country, right? We have extra things sitting around that, I call them regrets. I got this thing I should never have bought, it just sits in my closet. I regret buying it. Let's put it out in the yard sale. I think the people outside the US are less materialistic and have fewer regrets that you want to put out for sale. And that's probably why you don't have the yard sale situations that we do. Desi Rebecca flipping. That's cool.
Hello.
I get to watch live off work today. Been cleaning up the eBay shop. Love all your content. Flipping ain't easy.
That's awesome. Well, welcome into your first live.
That's just awesome. That makes me so happy. I say that all the time, but I really mean it. People that have been watching forever that for whatever reason don't comment, and then they finally come in and comment. It's like it really gets me going to want to keep doing this. So thank you. I appreciate that. Ping G says, happy Monday, John, Jenna in the chat. Nice
Hello,
to see
Ping.
you. Callie Debs says, hello, John, Jenna in the chat. I hope everyone is doing well today.
Yes, Kelly Debs, and I saw later on she's gonna have to leave.
Oh,
her phone is broken.
Well,
She has to go get a new one.
Go get a new one. Come back and join us for the Whatnot later. Make sure your Whatnot app works.
Oh, and by the way, I did put twice in the chat. I put the Whatnot link if you just want to click on the link and keep it in a separate tab.
Chastity says, hello and happy Monday, all.
Hello,
Thanks for being here, Chastity. Becky N says, got here early to hit the like. I need a sale today.
Yes.
We're going to get you a sale. 24 hours, though. Larry Todd says, good evening. Thanks for being here, Larry. Or Todd.
Hello, Todd.
Joe Samard, howdy, y'all. Todd is not a common name as it pertains to resellers. I don't really know of any other Todds. I know of a lot of Larrys, We had one last night. Larry way out. We went to
Oh.
dinner with Larry last night. Larry,
He's probably
myself.
on a flight still, right?
I don't know if he's flying out today. No, he's not flying
I
out
thought
today.
he was flying out
No,
today.
he's flying out tomorrow, I think. That's where Mike's flying out
Oh,
tomorrow.
that's right.
So we had dinner with, it was myself, Larry, Archie, and Mike. We went and had a nice Italian dinner, and we spent a good 3 hours in the restaurant. The waiter kept coming over to say, like, these guys still here? These guys still here? Semper Fi, in the house, still slow sales, but I'm still listing and expecting more sales.
Yes.
Always expect more sales. We got Maya in the house. Thanks for being here, Maya. Flip It Goods. It's Happy Monday. Nice to see you.
Happy Monday.
Henri Squaw says, howdy, John, Jen, and chat. Happy Monday. Finally feeling better after a few weeks of sickness.
Oh,
thank goodness.
Thank
well, that's good.
goodness.
Not good that you were sick, but good that you got over it, right?
That you're getting better.
Callie Deb says, I won't be able to stay for the whole whatnot sale. My phone went dead and I have to get another one tonight.
Yeah.
But get one, and then, it's very important that you make sure your whatnot app works. So, give that a shot. Harlan says, getting close to the Usher time. We've got to meet up. We have tickets.
When is that?
I believe you have yours already. The 15th of November, we're going to go to that concert. So got to get together and have some dinner and then go to the concert. Jenna's excited. She's so excited. She's making signs already. Samantha Hunter says, good evening, John and Jenna. Have a great whatnot show. Well, thank you. Hopefully you're there.
Thank you.
Try to be there if you can, just to watch, if anything else. JRKR 1964. Hi there. Here for my sale. Yes. We got Christopher Nutter in the house. Thanks for being here, Christopher.
Hello, Jen. Hello, Christopher.
We've got Maya says, I will say the culture on Depop is that sellers like to message buyers telling when their item will be shipped. I think buyers like to hear it because there are so many bad sellers there. It separates you. I'm telling you, it separates you from the rest. And it's something that I haven't adopted yet, but I'm going to, as soon as I get a sale, I'm going to thank them for their purchase. Because guess what? They buy an item from you, and then they're like, I don't know, maybe I should buy one that's going to get here to, next Tuesday instead of next Thursday. Or, oh, look, eBay has given me a better price by $1. You send a message to your buyer thanking them for their purchase. We're going to get this thing out tomorrow in the mail, or whatever your shipping is, and just let them know you're on it. You know what? They may be less inclined to cancel or to look for another alternative, right? They're like, okay, I'm good. I feel better about the transaction. So it's something that, yes, it's going to add an extra step, but it's something as simple. I have a notepad that I have as a file on my desktop. And every morning I get up, I make sure that it's open. Now I've got a lot of stuff on here. I have my offer template in there. It's just a canned message. I want something a little bit better than what eBay provides. I have links. I have different things that, if like reminders and stuff, disclaimers, chat GPT templates, different things that I could just copy and paste so I don't have to type out. And this would be one of them. Buyer thank you message. Maybe type out a really good professional one time, save it in your note tab, your note file, and then every time you get a sale, copy, paste, boom, you're done. And that buyer will, not all of them, some don't read, we know that, but there are that value that and will really appreciate it. Let's see, I just read that. Mike Gerda says, good evening. Communication is key for small sellers to thrive. We have less opportunities, so you have to make the most of each transaction. Mm-hmm. And, we were out to eat when we went to bowling on Thursday. We went to TGI Fridays, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed it, but that waitress was very, very friendly.
She was very happy. Very.
And I was to the point, I was almost going to say, can I speak to your manager and give her a commendation? I think some conversation came up where I didn't. But, it's people notice that. People notice service. And whether you want to admit it or not, you are in the business of dealing with customers, and you should be providing service, because you can run from it all you want, but at some point, eBay is going to force you to interact with your buyer, whether it's a return request or even a question. Maybe you don't answer questions. I'm willing to bet if you started to, you might maybe convert more sales.
I think we're in a time now where there's not so much good customer service when we're, out in the wild and at the stores or whatever. There's not a lot of, hey, is there something I can find for you? Or, hey, can I help you? There's not a lot of offered customer service. It's very much you having as the buyer or the shopper, you're having to ask for the help, or, hey, do you have something, whatever you're looking for. It's not so much, you go through a drive-through nowadays and the people don't say please and thank you and you're welcome. They just don't. And, I don't know who to blame for that, but it's really sad.
Culture. I can remember as a kid being told to, here's your manners. Who talks to their kids about manners anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's not as important as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then that translates into over everything else that we do.
I mean, if I pulled up to a window and it was my own child talking to somebody the way that we've been spoken to at a fast food restaurant in the drive-thru, I would be appalled and feel like I failed as a parent. Yeah. So
Mike Gertis says, good evening. Communication is key for small sellers. I think I read that one. Biff says, conversion rate is simply a function of price. It's 99% price. They buy when the deal is fair, whether it takes a coupon, an offer, or whatever. I like to think it's actually probably more like 75%. I do agree that price is huge, especially when money is tight for a lot of people. I know this, if I have a lot of money in my pocket, I don't really care if it's something I want or need. I mean, it's like, okay, I'll buy it. If I don't have money in my pocket, yeah, I'm going to be price sensitive. That's kind of what we called it in, at the railroad, talking about whether people were price sensitive or not. I do really believe that there's a good percentage of the remaining part of that, that other 25% where, there's an apprehension from buyers when they're buying online. They think, I don't want to get scammed. There's some buyers that really are afraid of that. And even though they'll buy the item, that's on the back of their mind. By you being proactive with that buyer, you're easing those demons that are in their head thinking that this guy's out to scam me, because maybe it's happened to them before. SCG Collectibles, can't wait for your first. Number 2.
That's what.
Oh, okay.
For your
yeah. Can't wait for your first number 2.
For your slogan in the.
Yeah, for the toilet seats.
Yeah.
It's like going for the first time.
That's
Integrity Sales. Well, it's like going for the first time, but there's no one there to wipe for you, right?
Ew.
Integrity Sales says it's craptastic.
Oh my gosh, I love your little troll.
Mix Mercantile. Hey, John and Jenna, I'm a 20-year Wally World associate. My customer service is impeccable. I'm a top-rated seller with 100% positive feedback. With one. I don't know what else. Is there somewhere else? No, I think they stopped at that point. But probably 100% positive feedback with what? One neutral? You still have 100% with a neutral. And that's fine. I really believe that some customers do read it. They do take a look at it. We always think that buyers don't read, but I really think it's that 10% of buyers that don't read that stick out in our mind. And it's like the negative. It's a phenomenon that happens with poker. You tend to think about the worst losses that you've taken at a poker table, but you forget about all the pots that you did win before that. And it really influences the way you play for some people, or the way you play. And I really think that for buyers, they get burned once or twice, right? They get really kind of defensive. I really believe that sellers, they get really weird about some buyers, like, oh, they start looking at feedback, or they start investigating like they're a private investigator. We all do it. I've done it. I've talked about it on this channel, and I still do believe that if you have the opportunity to weed out a bad buyer that is just going to be more problems than they're worth, then certainly you have the option to jump ahead, like instead of sending them an offer, blocking them. That could be a good thing. But for the most part, we don't have that kind of control. And we just have to do everything we can just to get in front of bad buyers and treat them with kindness to the point where they're not going to be so difficult. Silver Hair says, my toothbrush holders are for even the dentally challenged. I got it. Silver Hair, happy cheeks are our goal. Yes. Fisher Flip says, happy Monday, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Hello, Scott.
Glenn's Gauntlet says, always answer instantly for most or mostly, and the buyer is very appreciative of it. Gotten repeat customers because I added extra photos or something. Buyers love it, and they take you seriously. Yes. And they know you're taking them seriously. I mean, nothing is worse. I mean, I've had this happen before. You're about to buy something, and you really think that is a good price, looks like exactly what I need, but you're not sure about something. Maybe there's an accessory missing, and you're not quite sure because the listing's not complete. You send them a message, and they never get back to you, so you never buy it. Jovial, have a gluteus maximus day.
Gluteus
Maximus day.
That's for you.
I know. I just can't. Pitco says, I put a video snippet in my listings too. There you go. And it doesn't have to, it could be you like in front of your camera saying, hey, thank you for buying from me. I'm going to get, as soon as you buy this, I will within the next 24 hours be getting this thing packed up to ship, and we'll get it out on the next business day. Something like that. And you put it in every listing. You have the video. It's not like you have to make it for everyone, and put it where you kind of maybe store your photos so they're right there. And it's, I've been doing it for most of my listings. Bill is with us. Hello, and J&J and FAE family. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Silver Hair. Bert was great. Now I got to fix everything I'm doing wrong. Brandy in the house. Hey, guys. I love the PPP episode. Can't wait for Bert's return. Thanks for the information content. Yes. I'm excited to have, thanks for the great content. I think that's what you said. Okay.
Thanks for the information.
But we get it. But thank you for watching, because without you guys, again, we're just a bunch of guys talking to each other. Fisher Flip says, everyone needs to go watch that episode. Very valuable info that all sellers need to hear. And it isn't for your beginners. So if you're beginning at reselling, bookmark it. Go back to it in a few months and things will make a little bit more sense. But if you're starting, a lot of it might just go over your head. But it is really, really good information. Roman says, I can't be on Profit Playbook Podcast because I'm always in negative profit. So I can only be on Negative Profit Playbook Podcast. And that appears every Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern on YouTube. Pico says, do you have a whatnot link?
Yes,
okay, so it's in there. Jovial, this is it. Your number 2 is my number 1 priority. Maya says, here's an eBay seller communication that I was kind of put off by.
Go watch Roman's last live.
Yeah. Here's an eBay seller communication that I was kind of to put off by. I ordered a couple of shopping bags on Wednesday with 1-day handling and never got any tracking confirmation. I wasn't super concerned, but it suddenly showed up on Saturday afternoon, shipped by Amazon. I get a message from the seller 4 hours after I get it stating, it has been a while since you received your order and asking me to leave a positive. Yeah, I'll get my Amazon rep to do that for you. It's drop shippers. I think that's drop shippers. I really wish there was a way to do away with them. Now I know that eBay has, eBay has done it. This is something that's happening within, I guess, ePacket is changing. Beard talked about this. Is Beard even here? He's not here, is he?
He bragged about missing your rant, but then he's no longer here.
Oh, okay.
I think he doesn't.
He talked about it on a previous
anymore.
video, but he was talking about how that's going away. And I did watch another video where they're talking about ePacket, where people can order something from AliExpress, have it shipped to their buyer in the United States, and kind of pocket the difference because the shipping is so low with ePacket. Now it's going to be so prohibitive to do that. You're going to have to provide your customer's information to the government along with social security number. Ain't no customer giving out that information. So that's
he is here.
Oh, okay. He said WTF, I'm here. Maya says, here's an eBay seller communication. I think I just read that. Mike says, for a couple of years now, I let my buyer know I'm shipping their item the next business day. when it's before noon. I offer 1 day handling time, and I want to set the expectation. Yeah, that's a great idea. I think it's something I'm just going to develop something in my notes and get that sent. As soon as I see I got a sale, I'll just do it. Maya says, so I was like, it hasn't been a while. I just got it a few hours ago. I decided not to leave any feedback. Well, that's nice of you. Some people would have left a negative or a neutral. Yeah. Casey, New York's with us. Thanks for being here. Hi, everyone. I'm late, but I'm here.
Hello,
that's all that matters is you're here. Mix Mercantile. I have 20 plus years of Wally World experience. You're right about customer service is very important. I respond instantly on the phone. Yeah. Instantly on phone. Oh, through your phone app, I'm sure you mean. Jimmy D says, link to Whatnot Auction.
It's
right there. There's your link. It's in the chat. Big Dre says, Curious Collection deleted 2,000 items from the store because of the last PPP episode. So I'm wondering what items I should delete. Well, what I'm doing on my main
2,000 stinking items.
I mean, I don't know how many items they have. You have 20,000. That's only 10%. It's not a lot.
Wow.
But I've suspected this for a while. Those of you guys who watched this live or my channel for at least over the last year, I've suspected that items that are never going to sell, and we all have some of those items that have been sitting and sitting and sitting, they're collecting data on those lists. Every listing you have collects data, right? So item that I list today sells tomorrow. Well, that's a good item in eBay's eyes. An item that you list today and in 6 months is still there. Well, that ain't such a hot item as far as eBay is concerned. And if your store is filled with the latter bunch of items that are just stale, then eBay is going to look at your store more as a stale store than it is a store that's converting. So we want to find items that we talk about high sell-through rate. Really, that conversion rate, it all boils down to be pretty much the same thing. Sell-through rate, I think, is where it's at, and I think it only makes sense. As Bert was saying, eBay doesn't have anything personal against you. eBay isn't throttling your traffic. eBay doesn't, think that you're a bad person. You're just one drop in a very, very, very big bucket. And if you stop selling tomorrow, eBay wouldn't miss you, and that's just the truth of the matter. So eBay doesn't look at you like that. They look at you as, does this person bring value to eBay? Does this person help us get to our bottom line, which is more sales, and more sales means more fees we can collect. And that's what eBay is interested in. So how can you help eBay meet that goal? And then eBay will help you meet yours. So, and that is through your sales conversion, finding things. I think, Biff was saying 99% is your price. I like to think that 75%, but of that 25 remaining percent, I think a huge part of that is not only customer service, but what are you selling? Because I'll list something that is just a hot item. It'll sell overnight, and it's happened many times. I'll sell something that looks questionable, and guess what? I was right. That thing's still sitting here. So no matter how good a service, no matter how good of a listing, no matter how good your store's conversion rate, you can't convert your way through a crappy item. You're listing something that's saturated and something that people really don't want. You can do all the things that Bert talked about in the PPP. You probably aren't going to sell it. Maya says, if you can handle Walmart, you can handle it all.
Yeah. That's some wild customer service there.
Yeah, you're watching those videos of just watch, search on YouTube. If you want to be entertained, look for Walmart buyers, or is it Walmart people? Walmart people. Pull up Walmart people on YouTube, and it'll come up with all kinds of the craziest things you've ever seen. Great entertainment. Yes, I have spent hours entertaining myself watching those videos, by the way. Roman says, Todd told me to list all day today so I can sell stuff, but once again, I'm just sitting at the desk and looking at the wall all day. Let's see. Mimi says, avoid using negative wording in your messages. Words like unfortunately and no.
Yeah.
Or please stop messaging me.
Yeah.
I don't have time for you. Or how about, the answer, right? But it's also in the listing, and you decide to get snarky and say, well, it's in the message or it's in the listing. Go read the listing.
Well, that's what you told me to do the other day on that one.
I told you just off the cuff, but I didn't tell you to go verbatim.
That's what you told me to say.
I didn't tell you verbatim.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Roman says, Todd, I finally realized that eBay is actually a selling platform. I was thinking it was a donation platform like Goodwill. Some people expect it, yeah. And I guess the Dodgers are playing today, so it is what it is. My team's out of it. How many
games are they?
7-game series. They're playing in New York. Homeless flipper. Need to work on my customer service skills. I mean, some people do. I mean, the first step is to acknowledge it. If you think that you're doing fine, if you're one of the people that are like, I don't need to work on that, my customer service skills are fine, and you've absolutely had no customer service skills in your life, and you may think you're doing fine, but I promise you probably can do better. You got thick skin from working at Walmart. Yes. Josh says, hello, John and Jenna and Chad. I'm making dinner, so I've got you in my ear.
Hey,
so
Josh,
you survived the 5K. I would still be on the 3rd K wishing that I never started it at all, but you made it. He was talking about going for a run before tuning in. Roman says, I hit the like button and Josh Galt finally got Canadian citizenship. Beard says, Bearded PokeTuber says, happy Monday, y'all. Nice to see you.
Happy Monday.
Maya says, I saw your kitten in the video the other day. So cute. What kitten?
Who's kitten?
I don't know. We have a cat in here? That's not us. You're probably talking about Josh. I'm sure she means Josh. Landshark Picker. Good evening. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Josh has, I think he had 2 cats. One was in the storage unit. I think that cat didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then he has one at home that looks a lot like the cat he had at the storage unit. So I'm kind of curious about that. But Landshark Picker says, good evening. Nice to see you. Mike says, I accept any invitations from Cincinnati resellers. Roman says, Mike, you can take Archie with you inside the luggage to Cleveland so he won't pay for the ticket. Susan says, thumbs up and get a sale. Yes. What we do is we put that positive karma out there. You hit that like button just one time. That's all you need to do. And within 24 hours, you're going to get a sale. Can't tell you, exactly what kind of sale. I can't even guarantee you it's only going to be one. It could be multiple sales. But we get it started by at least getting you a sale. Todd says, my Cowboys, most profitable sports franchise in the world and can't even win. Yep. They're a lot like my Angels. I was talking to my buddy who's an Angels and Cowboys fan. The common denominator is the owner is too involved in the operations. And until that changes, it probably is going to be the way it is. Beard says, Mark Say from a John Rant. Well, nice to see you too. Easy Pickens says, what's up, John and Jen in chat?
Chris,
nice to see you. See, that is the difference. Look at this. Beard's like Mark Say from a John Rant, and Chris is like happy to be here. I don't know, man. I just 2 good guys, 2 guys that I consider my friends, and it's get totally 2 different reactions. I don't know. Mike says, Roman, we have tried that already, but my bag was overweight. Let's see. Beard says, some of these people need to pull out already. Too much baby junk. Wow.
Wow. Scott.
I wonder, are you going to have your live on Wednesday? I think he's already missing it because he's got to have a place to vent his thoughts.
Well, he's venting plenty right now.
I know. Biff says a pile.
I don't want to be your punching bag.
A pile of baby clothes on the front lawn is the kiss of death.
Yes.
Yeah, just
it really is. We just drive right on by.
Turn on the hip hop real loud. Just,
no, we don't.
Just go slow. Turn the lights off. Susan says, I got to go in and for my in-laws home and get all things I picked for nothing. Mother-in-law from Germany, so lots of German things. Ooh. As well as MCM pieces of furniture, boxes of stuff. We'll keep some.
Wow, that's
sounds like you got a lot of work to do. Mick says, when they mention eBay at yard sales, I just walk away, move on to the next sale. I start asking them about the return policy. Can I bring it back in 30 days? Scott N says, I told you that garage sales in Las Vegas are trouble. People are we're doing eBay pricing printouts 7 years ago.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. It's just gotten really bad.
But
now.
it's gotten to Summerlin, the older areas, right?
Yeah. It's gotten to the whole old folks.
JRKR, you have to wonder how many clothes can a baby wear?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not like these people have like twins and triplets running around.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Mike says it's Habitat for Humanity thrift outlet. I've heard of that. I don't know where that is. Maya says, can you imagine how much worse it would be if Target didn't allow people to return all their used baby clothes?
Very true.
Target, Costco, all those places. Duncan says, order of 6 items, can't find one of them. What's the bet? eBay relisted it after it previously sold.
Oh.
And Duncan, check out the PPP. One of the things.
I already saw it.
I don't know if he saw it. I think Pitco saw it. I don't know if Duncan saw it. But if you haven't seen it, Duncan, go check out the Profit Playbook podcast over the weekend. Bert talks about how that is like one of the things, out of stock or defects. Any kind of defects are just not a good look for your account at all. It hurts you.
I'm sure it's not anything he did on purpose.
No, but it creates a defect. So if you can't fulfill the listing, even if eBay, because eBay is never going to admit that they did it, right? Never going to admit that they accidentally, because this is something that's been going on for a long time. And I really think that, they should at least fess up to it. I don't know why it would be a problem if they said, look, we're going to take the defect away. Don't worry, we'll cancel the sale and, it's all good. But they've refused in every case that I know of. They refused to do that. Biff Boffo says, I don't think the next generation will have many yard sales as much so much Chinese crap breaks and goes to the landfill.
Yeah.
Todd says, Todd Rendon in Wisconsin is the only other reseller Todd I know. Yeah, you're the only one I know. Roman says, Duncan told me to hit the like button so I get returns. That's not going to happen. I'll probably get the return.
No, we've had enough.
I know, too much. Roman says, Usher is a great reseller. I would go to his show also. He sells records, right? Todd says, if someone shows you your seats at an Usher concert, are they an Usher? You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to just say Usher, baby. It's like he does Usher. The sale, that was quick. I love it. Chai Charan says, just listed 46 sealed VHS movies that I sourced for $1.20 each on eBay. $540 of listed value, and took me an hour to list all of them. Score. There you go.
That's great.
500. So 46 is good. There you go. $540 of value, and by the time it's said and done, all you have to do is list a handful of those, or sell a handful of those, and you're free rolling it. Pitco, I already have that buyer message pre-saved. There you go. And it's part of developing processes, I think. So I think a lot of us, we do well when it comes to buying things, shipping things, pricing things, listing things. But there's a lot of processes in between that we don't have, that we kind of just wing. And it's probably the best thing to do is to develop a process. So at 7 a.m, I get up and I do this. And then when that's done, I'll go do this. And then when that's done, I have this window of time to do that. And whenever I get a sale, I'm going to do this. I'm going to send offers this many times in a day instead of just doing it on the fly. I think it's best to write it down, right? But if you can't, at least have a plan in your mind that you follow every day. Susan, I always thank my buyers and then send another one when I ship the item.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Roman, Todd, it really works. Some buyers fly to Cleveland for that. I don't know what they fly for. I think I skipped it.
A foot rub.
Oh, gee. Chai says, I hit the thumbs up button and got a sale on eBay within 2 minutes.
Nice.
That's awesome. We need to hit a thumbs up button because my
did.
sales have been kind of weird
but
today.
I haven't had anything today.
Big Dre says, my thrift shops close at 9 p.m. and Goodwill's close at 8. I only shop Goodwill when my wife wants to go, but I usually add more items to the cart than her, mostly hard goods and electronics. Yeah, it's easy to find stuff. I think if I had to, of course, I would go to we have many thrift stores here in Las Vegas, but that's like a plan like D for me. So I haven't had to do that. Roman says, Duncan, crickets for sale is my eBay store name. Glenn's Gauntlet says, first rule of business, customer is always right. Someone's trying to hack my phone. Hold on.
I know.
No, you cannot. Jovial says, oh my goodness. The lost item from USPS that I mentioned on Primo and Spam show was just scanned moments ago. Last scan was 10/15/24. Yoo-hoo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's good. At least they found the dang thing.
Yeah. Duncan says, Roman, try eating those crickets. They taste good. DM Ephemera, thanks for being here. Put some good wheels on them. You can have the first annual FAE shower shitter races. I'm sure they'll be well attended. Yeah. And if they go too fast, well, instead of shitting their pants, Duncan VR says, didn't hear your doc say no beer for Roman. Oh, that's great. Big Dre, week sales this weekend on eBay. Only 4 sales in Posh with 1 sale. All sales total about $150. It's not great. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're looking to get. Douglas says the PPP, he said, if your item is not seen on page 1, your sales are dead. John, have you checked where your items are found in search? Mine are in best match results and on page 1. Most of mine are in the upper portion of page 1. Almost all of them are on page 1. Christopher Nutter, Roman Archie testing the quality of the toilet seats. Yes, he is. He had a problem. He wanted my help. I told him I'm not giving him my help. Beard, my ears are bleeding listening to John. Man, I feel the love. Where's the positivity? Mick says, I passed on a toilet seat in the box yesterday at an estate sale. I didn't want to compete with the toilet seat king. I have a few toilet seats listed. I have a lot listed, but a few different listings. They make up a very small percentage of my items, and I'm not actively looking for any more.
No.
Duncan says,
You can do it!
Beard, waiting on my like sale, I might have to leave a negative feedback on this show. You're just not patient. You got to have the patience. 24 hours.
So you pull your show, and then you're going to critique ours.
Yeah, it's not easy
What
doing
the
a show.
heck?
You should know that. It's not easy doing a show. Yates Resells, I love the idea of having a dedicated phone number for customer service. What are you talking for eBay? Because I ain't trying to talk to anyone on the phone. I don't want to go to level 2. I'd rather stay at level 3, and I'm fine with that. Nick Picker says listing and lurking and just wanted to say hey.
Well, hey,
Nice to see you. Thanks for dropping in. And we have Kate Picker as well.
Kate!
Yeah, nice to see you guys. Beers a shower shitting and sitting and a hitting. Yeah, it's time to make another video. Yeah, you need to fire up the camera. I think you got a lot to say. Andy says Curious Collections have almost 13,000 items in their store.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Duncan says eBay deletes state items without warning, so you need to go through all your stuff and see what is no longer needed. You probably mean stale. I think you did say stale. Delete stale items without warning. Yeah. And as evidence of the video I did like 3 weeks ago where I had a pile of stuff that
How many items?
70 some odd. No, 50 some odd. The first time we did was 70. Mayo says, what do they sell? I started taking down out of season clothing in an attempt to get sell-through / conversion up.
Yeah.
Todd got cha-ching number 2. That's awesome.
Yay.
Maya has got the idea from another clothing seller last year. I think it's a good idea. And if you can find a way to, and this is, it's going to be a plug for TreeCat, but I always find a way to do that. They will allow you to have like a library of listings. So maybe you take those listings down, but it'll retain that information so that when you're ready to go and put it up again, you can go and just launch it. Whereas eBay, you remove that listing, you have 90 days, and otherwise you're going to lose all those listings. Beard says, remember you asked for this. Skippy McSkipperson. I did a pretty good job. I didn't skip a whole lot.
You haven't skipped him yet.
Nick says, I went through and changed all of my stale listings to free shipping and dropped the price. I've sold quite a few of them in the past few weeks. I mean, if you really wanted to, you can lower your price to just to make sure you make your cost back. Plus, after the fees where you're breaking even, you're not taking a loss. And I'm not saying that you should do that, but you could do something like that and start moving things and then invest that money in better stuff. S. Latina says, thanks for the thumbs up. Cha-ching, just got my sale.
Hello.
It works, I'm telling you. Maya Koyama, I do leave all seasons of clothing up in Poshmark so they'll have a chance to sell. And I'm going to have clothing, or we're going to have clothing on the Whatnot sale. And most of it is like fall, winter type stuff. So it's just in time for those of you guys who want to buy stuff to resell. I'm going to start like everything at $2 and see what happens. Or if you just want something for yourself. Roman says, Todd told me that sell-through rate is only accurate in Uzbekistan. Last time I checked, it wasn't accurate in Uzbekistan. Duncan says, hit the like and get a dozen casino free spins from a spam email. Yeah. That was the wrong channel.
That is not something we do.
Yeah. I was talking about Josh. I thought you were about the cat. Josh, I can run a 2K Krispy Kreme. You meant Krispy Kreme. In the middle of PPP, his kitten walked across his screen. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Nick says, when a customer asks me a question that is answered in the listing, I always answer, but I do politely say something about it being in the listing in hopes to teach them to actually look at the listing before asking a question.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with reminding them, hey, while you're at it, please do check the listing. I just want to make sure that before you buy this, it's going to be everything you want,
Yeah,
that type of thing.
I will say something like, as stated in the listing details, blah, 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 and answer their question.
Yates says, I think they're just being nice, but a bit odd. That look on Jenna's face. Yeah, I understand. I always get that look on Jenna's face, and half the time I don't understand. So you're ahead of me. Roman says there are a bunch of pro sports franchises with really bad owners. Yes, Browns are one of them. Hey, Shannon's back. I made it back early to catch the live.
Yay!
Awesome.
That was some fast trunk or treating.
Yeah, well, make sure in an hour from now you guys are watching the Whatnot.
Yeah, she's good.
Roman says, example of great ownership for NFL teams are the Steelers. Rooney family knows exactly what they're doing for many years. Yeah, they haven't won all those championships for nothing. Mike Gertis, that's what I turned my store around last September when I was struggling. I removed 800 of my 2,000 items that were simply filters and low-priced items that buyers didn't want as much. I'm up 45%. And I'm actively, every time I get to my 29th day, I have one more day left in the listing before eBay recycles it. I'm going through and I'm either end item, sell similar, or I'm ending the item, and then I'm either saving the photos and relisting them into the secondary account, or I'm just chucking it all together. Sunny H says, so tired of these resellers with crappy items, whining about slow and or inconsistent sales. Find and sell better items, sell on different platforms. Figured out whining isn't helping. Well, I agree with you, and I hope you don't think I'm whining. My sales have been solid all the way through. I think the second account that we we're really ramping up, has offset the slower sales. So we were talking about it yesterday that my sales are down like 15 to 20% in Q4, not for the year, but for Q4. And that's even taking into consideration, we took a trip to New Mexico right after Labor Day or on Labor Day. We went to Cincinnati for the reseller rally. I went to San Francisco for a weekend.
Busy.
We were very, very busy.
And this year we have nothing.
Well, we have distractions.
Yeah, but they're all coming here. I want to go somewhere.
Yeah. But
I speaking of going,
okay, you got to go.
Yeah,
you got to go. Mm-hmm. So I hope you don't think I'm whining about sales. I am one that'll tell you that your success on reselling, or really whatever you do in life, it starts with you. How motivated are you to get up in the morning instead of sleeping in? How motivated are you to develop a process that you're going to follow? It's not easy to develop new processes when you're used to doing a certain way, like in integrating the storage unit into my processes. But, all these things start with you. If you're not motivated enough to get the right items to sell, right? You're just going to fall back on the same old things that you've known, and you're not willing to learn new things that might make you some money. Then is it really eBay's fault in the end when you're not making, you're watching all these channels where people are making money and you're not? It's because you're not doing the things that you need to do to win. So I'm there with you, but we try not to whine. So if I whined anytime, that's kind of making you think that, hey, here's this whiner guy. I really don't. I'm happy with where we're at, and I'm just trying to grow it if I can. Mick says, undersell, over deliver. I offer 1 day handling, but usually ship same day. Yeah. Duncan says, all up. How's your eBay October sales? I had a big month. Yes, John, I always watch PPP every Sunday. Bert did all the talking. Yeah, but it's one of those where you really are taking away from the conversation if you start derailing him from what he was saying. I think there's a lot of information that really has resonated with people, just some of the comments that I've read, and some of the things that were said on Primo's live today. It's really was really a good episode, and I think it would have not done the show any good to get in there and start saying, well, Bert, I don't think you're right. I think just let him talk, because he does have some creds, and that is it's like someone saying, yeah, I've traveled on the train and I know all there is about trains, but here's some guy that's worked with trains all of his life, on Amtrak at least. I probably know quite a bit, and maybe not everything, but maybe there's something to be learned there. So for me, I'm all ears, and I was happy to hear him talk about whatever he knew. Wow's this and that reselling. Hey, y'all, what is when you purchase a high volume selling item and it still takes several weeks to get a sale for it? I list it for the same price, same shipping, and 2 day handling time. Confused. Demand. The one thing I would say is, if you have an item that you believe should have sold by now, go in and look to see, has it sold for anyone? So just pull up the sold comps on it, and you can use TerraPeak, you can use the 90-day solds to see, is it even in demand for anyone? So you might not be the only person with that item saying, what's going on here? There may not be demand for it. Now, if there are previous sales for that, now it's time to start looking. What did they do that I didn't do here? What is their price point? Did they have more photos than me? Did their listing look more professional? How is their title? Maybe my title's not right. So yes, the getting the item, the good item, and putting it at a good price point, those are all things you need to do, but it's not the end. So it's time to do a little homework to find out what's going on. Kent says, mornings be like shit, shower, and shave. Yeah. Pitco, since I watched the PPP, I've been polishing the account with a lot of the little bits and made a big difference in metrics. Yeah, that's good. That is awesome.
I think that episode was very helpful for a lot of people.
Yates says, the customer is not always right. Absolutely not.
No.
But that doesn't mean you have to rub their nose in it.
No, you need to educate them.
Well, yeah, you can educate them, but at the same time, you communicate in such a way to where that frustration it's not known. It's like they'd have no idea that the idea that they've asked you 20 questions is getting on your last nerve. You really just want to be as kind and as professional as you can in every communication.
Yeah, the adage of customer is always right is very wrong.
Just not nice there, Scott. I don't know. I don't know what I ever did to you, man. I'm sorry. Bill says, terrible sales this past week.
Is that why you're not doing your lives on Fridays anymore? You don't want John on?
That might be it. He's like, how can I get this guy off my show? I got it. I'll take a break from doing videos. And then that way he'll think I'm done. And then when I'm ready, I won't tell him and he won't be on. Okay. So we got Mike. Says, gifted 10 Flippin' Ain't Easy memberships. Aww. Well, darn it. Thank you.
So we have Shannon Greenlaw, Easy Pickens, Efferhide 66, Micah Kaplan, James M606, Backpack Baby, and Elaine Cherry, Mark Sutton, Simply Shenanigans, and Teabags.
Awesome. Well, thanks for
congratulations, guys. Thank you, Mike.
And Jenna's like, how come you haven't done a members video? I'm going to. I am really going to. You guys have been watching over the last couple of weeks. We've really tried to make time for friends. I think that's important, right? And you guys are our friends as well. But when friends come to town, you work around that. That's like been a priority for us. So,
especially, Mike doesn't get to come out I mean, he comes out more often than most, but the fact that he traveled all the way from New York here to come visit and hang out with us, and not just us, but everybody, it's very special.
Yeah.
Mike is my favorite friend. So,
and yeah, something's got to give though. When you have all that stuff going on, doing things that going out to eat and all this stuff, it does take time away. And then unfortunately, it's just some of the things that I'd like to do, but I just haven't. So just count on that. We're going to have some more videos here next week. We're going to have a members only live again, the round table. So be prepared for that. Make sure that you're there and we can all kind of get diving down into each other's accounts. Beamy says terrible sales this past week, only 2 sales all weekend.
Oh my God.
And only 1 so far today. Well, that's no good. How do we fix that?
Yeah.
Mr. Sadie, Larry, good evening. Thanks for seeing you.
Hello.
Or thanks for seeing you. Nice to see you. The Motivational Maniac. What happened to eBay the last 3 days? It's dead. I had 28 Thursday, then 13 total the last 3 days. It's like a cycle. It's like a mad cycle.
Yeah, it's very much a wild ride.
If everyone posted, hey, I'm not getting sales, and everyone's chart went down. And one thing that you can do, and this is something that Bert was talking about, and makes great sense. Go into Terapeak, go in over the last 30 days, 90 days or whatever, type in what kind of item you sell and see what the chart looks like for all resellers. Now, if you're seeing a decline, then it's probably not just you, it's pretty much everyone. But it may, if it's pretty steady, then it's not affecting a lot of other people. And that means it's time to get in there and see, what am I doing? Going back to that question that the other guy asked. I think that this item should have sold. Why isn't it sold? Well, the answers are there. You got to just go looking for it. Now, you start with what has sold. Has it even sold? Find out if the items that you're selling are selling for anyone else. And then it might be time to go in and emulate and change some of your listings. Shannon says, what is PPP? I don't want to miss info. So Shannon, it's the Profit Playbook Podcast. Those 3 words on YouTube, Profit Playbook Podcast. And we do a weekly, it's Bearded Picker, myself, and Josh Galt. We do a weekly show, and it airs on Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we just talk reselling. We don't talk about really how our sales are and what we had for breakfast and, all these things. We really kind of get down into the things that resellers, I think, want to hear. And that's why I think it's the best podcast that's out there.
Rhonda, we are at 24,993 people.
Yeah.
So if we could get 7 more subscribers, hit that,
7. I want 75,000.
Can we just get the guy?
I want my damn
get this
play button.
Well-deserving, hardworking man 7 more subscribers.
Yeah. How many of you 131
At
people
least let's
watching
get to
right now
25,000.
haven't subscribed to the channel? I mean, come on. And if you haven't, put in the chat or comment down below why you haven't subscribed. I'd like to know. Susan, so my babies are born in 1986 and one 1997. They wore those clothes until I threw it out to gave to friends. So the newborn clothes.
Yeah.
But you didn't put them in a yard sale though, right? I think it's better purposed when you pass them on to people who need it, like family that maybe a younger family who may not have the means to buy all this stuff.
My sister has twin girls, and so all of their clothes go to my daughter's youngest daughters.
Yeah.
So it stays in the family, but it's definitely goes to good use.
Maya says, when are you doing your whatnot? After this live? Yes, in 45 minutes from
5
now.
o'clock.
We'll I don't know, I think Maya's on the East Coast, so that's in 45 minutes, no matter where you're at, 45 minutes, we're going to be doing the whatnot show. So make sure you're there. We're going to have men's and women's clothing. And I do plan on having one giveaway. We have some jerseys and stuff.
Thank you, Keith.
Maya, take a look. I'm kind of clueless about how their shipping works, though. I don't think
there for Whatnot,
Yeah.
it was so confusing. Remember?
Yeah.
It was very
well. It's not confusing to the buyer. It's confusing to the
Yeah,
seller.
it's not confusing to the buyer, but for us, we had a lot of orders, so it took us a while we had to look up YouTube videos to figure out how to do the shipping.
DM Ephemera says, recently saw somewhere that you should wait 12 hours after ending before relist or sell similar. True? And not true that I've seen. It's just a good idea that you're just not doing a sell similar without changing something in the listing. So maybe your title needs to be changed, maybe the order of your photos, maybe maybe your item specifics are missing something, and maybe it just you're tweaking something else like the price. So many different things that you can look at to change. Maybe your promoted percentage, but then again, that's one I plan on talking to Bert about when he comes to the show on next Monday. You guys know I like talking about promoted listings, so I really wanted to dive in there. Now, he wasn't around. I think he left eBay in 2019, but I still think he has a lot of knowledge as to what eBay wants as best practice. So we're going to talk about a lot of that. Let's see. Maya, do they do it on each item you win with the shipping charge? I think so. On Whatnot?
Yeah. Whatnot usually will tell you as you buy things, it'll tell you, like, I think it's after you buy a certain amount and your shipping totals a certain dollar amount, then you start to get free shipping. I don't know how to get how.
Kate says it's easy. The first item has the most shipping, and
Yeah.
if you add to it, the shipping is reduced.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
Yates says, I'm moving past eBay. Dependent solely on eBay is a mistake. And that's why, getting your items out in front of others on other platforms, whether, we don't talk about it a lot, Depop, Grailed, all those sites, but Mercari, Poshmark, it may add maybe 10% more to your sales, but it all adds up.
Bonanza.
Bonanza. I just really think I'd rather watch Bonanza than sell in Bonanza at this point. Maya says, I bought some stuff years ago and I was surprised how much the shipping added up. Maybe it's different now.
Yeah, I think from the beginning of Whatnot to now, they have definitely reformatted the way they do shipping.
Yeah, the more stuff you buy, they'll combine shipping. Pitco says, John, I sent around 100,000 or 100 UK sellers a link to the PPP with Bird in it. So you might see an influx in numbers or watches from tonight onwards.
Very nice.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
That's awesome. There's a lot of UK sellers saying that they've been referenced by even other channels. So, and I think for them, it's refreshing that they have a voice that, I'm sure it gets kind of old tuning into YouTube. And for the most part, other than the hills, you have really nobody that is local because whether you admit it or not, the cultures are still a little bit different than, US sellers compared to UK sellers. Larry Todd says, Yates, eBay has worked for me for 9 years. Yeah, eBay is still paying the bills, right? And if it's not working for you, there's something that I'm sure that you can control. There's no reason why Todd, he's making it work. He's taking, trips. He's happy with eBay, and then others are not happy with it. There's a difference. What is the difference? That's what you have to figure out. Chai Charon says, did you ever notice that you get sales on days that you list heavily and get barely any sales on days you take off from listing? By the way, got 3 sales so far since I hit the thumbs up button.
Yay! Where's your claps?
Oh, then
give me this. This is now mine.
It's yours?
I get
You can do it!
Yes.
Give it to her. You can do it. Now she's gonna get crazy. I'm gonna call her Primo. You guys watched Primo's show earlier?
Oh my God!
Did you see Spam was like on her
about
last
ready
leg?
to box Primo?
I'm like, this
I'm
is
so
happening
glad
in front of the camera. How does he get under her skin when the camera's off? I gotta be a fly in
He's
that one.
always talking over her. Always. She's trying to get out.
He gives her 10 seconds.
I know, but that's it. She's got a full thing she wants to explain, and he's just he gives literally 5 to 10 seconds, and then he's on top of her.
Sonny says, my comment was not directed to you, John. Really respect your style. Speaking of others who puts put little to no effort into front end and research to find best products and then wonder why not selling. Yeah. There are channels that will, and I almost fell into this trap for a while. I was doing stuff like, making it like this is eBay and sometimes it's really easy to kind of fall into that trap because we don't really realize we can do more to improve our situation than we're already doing, right? But I think as sellers, we think that what we're doing should be enough. And when it's not, it's kind of irritating, right? So we look at other factors to blame rather than what more do I need to do to make this work?
Well, just like in anything in life, you always want to put the blame on somebody else. You don't want to take a look in the mirror and accept responsibility for your flaws or the things that that you could make a change very easily, make a change on, and you just kind of refuse to do it.
Southern Vermont's with us. Cheers so much. Much love from Vermont.
Hello,
nice seeing
hello.
You. Nothing like those
Wait,
Vermont
are
tacos.
you guys Huh?
It's a Vermont tacos. You remember Vermont tacos? She sees the bad memory.
I do.
I think a lot of you guys remember. It's just a stupid joke about talking about the authenticity of Vermont tacos. Remember that?
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Okay. William Poland says, well, I'm surprised that I've been on a 5-day cruise, left my sales open with notice of shipping after I'm back and still had 5 sales today. Going good.
Very good.
And see, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great. And if I am ever going somewhere where I'm going to be gone for more than 5 days, I will definitely do that. But I know this, 3 days before I'm coming back, I'm taking myself off. I'm going to 3-day shipping. My store is live. 2 days, the next day, 1 day. And then when I get home, it's back to 0 days and I'm back in business. I think that there sometimes can be a buffer. People have talked about, I went on vacation and then I got home, I turned it back on, my store back on, and I didn't get sales for a few days. And I want to keep the momentum going. Roman says, Mike, Archie wants membership also, but on my channel. I don't think you have members. Shannon says,
but everybody gets a wrench.
Do I only get access to rewatch all past videos on membership for the first month? You get as much,
Get anything.
I think I have about 6 or 7, right? Videos that we put out.
I don't know if that's many. I don't think.
Yeah, you can go and
I don't know how many are there, but you have access to everything.
Because
You can do it!
Susan Phelps says, I put read in the main description if I want them to know something.
So do we, but we had a little discussion, and I really don't think that that's doing the job. I think that if you want something that's to be read, it depends on what you're wanting to be read. Like a parts or repair, I truly believe you need to put that in the title.
And what's
Parts
crazy
only.
What's crazy is we don't really have any negatives on the second account, and that's where I'm putting all the parts and repair stuff. So Pitco says, hey, John and Jenna, you ain't my friend, you're family. Well,
Oh,
thank you. I appreciate
wish
that.
I could go visit you, Keith.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jovial says, Jenna, how close are you to 25K?
24,993.
Roundtable will be next Wednesday. So not this Wednesday, but the first Wednesday of November. Easy Pickens Chris says, awesome. Thanks, Mike. He's a member of the channel now. Nice to see you and nice for you to be a member. Flipping from the trailer says, hey, John and Jenna, HRU guys, waiting on myself.
How are you?
Oh,
We are
right?
great.
I'm good. Beard says, I'm sub twice for the record. Is that sub and unsub?
Sub and yeah.
Roman just subbed. Okay. Yeah.
We put it in our whatnots if people want to go
Yes.
hit the link and bookmark.
Yeah. Can you have or I don't know where to go.
Archie and Mike have their
Just-
whatnot links
Just tell
in
them
the
to hit link
live.
and then they can bookmark and follow.
If you guys want to
Okay.
be,
So
go ahead.
Archie and Mike will be doing their own whatnot shows in line with ours. And so if you want to go and like bookmark the show, they have graciously added their links for their whatnot show tonight in the chat. So go ahead and give them a follow or what is it, a follow on Whatnot?
I think so. You bookmark.
Yeah,
it.
I think you follow it. You follow and you bookmark.
Pitco says I can share the link for the PPP if you like. Certainly, we want to grow the
Yes.
channel. I think what we talk about does provide value to most resellers, and even Beard agrees. Something I approve. PPP is the best reselling podcast.
Yes.
By far. It's not even close. SCG Collectibles. I don't get sales off your like button, but I have still subscribed.
Oh,
I appreciate you. Thank you
Well,
for doing
thank
that.
you.
And
Give it a try again. Give it a
and
try.
there's the link there for the Profit Playbook podcast in the chat. If you guys want to go and check out, if anything, the last episode for sure.
Yeah.
Northeast Mountain Retail, been up all year, month over month. This month, I'm over 40% down as of right now, or I'm over 40% down as of right now. So, we're in the same boat, but now it's time to figure it out.
We're in
You know,
40%.
No, not that far down. But we're
Oh.
down as compared to last month over month and year over year for the quarter. Todd says, my baby clothes sell in antique categories. Don't you still have the Shroud of
No,
Turin?
they should.
He's got the Shroud of Turin up in his
they
store right
should
now.
Sell in the holiday decor because he. If anyone wants to know, Todd looks like Santa Claus.
Susan Phelps says, I'll go full-time at the end of next school year and will retire. I have other incomes, so not worried about the sales and how fast, just extra. All sales are good, stress level low.
Yes.
And like I said, that's the best place to be is when
you.
you have a set income coming in and you do eBay for your extra. Right now, the extra you get to do is determined by how good your sales are. I get that, but it's not the same level of stress as I can't even pay for my light bill. You know what I mean? You're calling and making arrangements with the electric company because you can't pay your bills. That's a level of stress that nobody wants to do.
Yeah, Susan, that's a great position to be in.
Selling since end of April and approaching my 100th item in total sales for top rated seller. Is this correct? I believe that's correct. That was 1,000 items. No, I guess that's wrong. Now
I don't know that.
because I haven't checked in a while. I guess I can check now. Top rated seller requirement on eBay. It says top rated seller. Let's see. It says 100 or more transactions and $1,000 in sales during the last 12 months with U.S. buyers. A defect rate less than or equal to 0.5% with 3 or fewer defects from unique buyers. Cases closed without seller resolution is less than or equal to 0.3. Late shipment rate is under 3%. Tracking uploaded within all your handling time. And of course, your eBay account's been active for 90 days. So you meet those requirements, then you're all good for that.
Yeah.
Roman says, Todd told me that he will only show up in my Whatnot show if I sell silver for $1 and gold for $2 with free shipping.
Oh, you better believe that he'll be there for that.
Mike says, John, when you hit 100K, you can proudly display your YouTube plaque right next to Rhonda's toilet seat. They match.
That would be so cool.
It's going to be awesome. Susan says, I found out pretty fast that no returns really does not mean you will not return it on the eBay customer service.
That's right. There are no such thing as no returns on eBay.
Miriam, aka Midgie, love you all so much. Decided to subscribe to my own. Bill never lets me talk.
Oh,
Awesome, Miriam.
Well, I'm glad you came in on your own.
That's awesome. Well, thank you and welcome to the channel.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Well, she's always watching in the background.
Yeah. Time to get in the chat. Joe says, hey, FA fan, please check to ensure you are subscribed. For some reason, YouTube will occasionally unsubscribe viewers.
They do. And I will tell you, recently, I was unsubscribed from quite a few people that I watch on a normal, regular basis. So that does happen.
Desi just got my sale, my like sale of $79.97 Star Wars item. That's awesome.
Very cool.
I would love to see what you sold. Yates says, I understand what the gentleman is saying. I'm going to do some research as soon as I get the chance. Yep. Mm-hmm. Susan, maybe
I got a sale.
All right. Maybe no sales could be because of people celebrating Halloween. Also early voting. They're just busy. Just keep posting. Yes. XYZ, good evening, folks. Nice to see you.
Hello, hello.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Roman says, when you put that in the title, some buyers will actually read something. Yeah, I think read doesn't do enough, but sometimes it's all you got to work with. Phil Five Dime. Hey, guys. Hope everyone is well.
Awesome.
We are very
hello,
well.
hello.
Yeah. Nice to see
Glad
you.
you're here.
Let's see. Roman, I followed all of Archie's links, including OnlyFans. That would be pretty sad. He says, I have another listing or two to do tonight. I don't have a ton to list, however, but a couple of these PCs I can list for parts are not working. Yeah.
Mhm.
And maybe have the whatnot on while you're listing. Definitely put parts only in the title. Yeah. Todd says, my baby clothes were sewn by a nice lady named Betsy Ross. She's like, oh, I messed up on this baby garment. It looks like a flag. Hey, let's hang it up here on this pole. And then there you go. And then Roman helped write the Star Spangled Banner, by the way. Speaking about it, Todd's clothing was also worn by Russian Tsar Peter the Great back in the day. So I think we're here. We kind of worked it out to be done at an hour and a half in. Want to thank you guys for being really the best part of this program. You hear me yapping throughout the whole thing, but it's really you guys that make this show what it is. So I want to thank you. And thank you to the members who are members and have stuck with being a member despite my negligence over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to get some more content out here as soon as possible. But we're doing the whatnots here. The next half an hour, we're going to start with mine. We're going to go to Mike, and then we're going to do Archie. I hope you guys can do me one favor. Fire up the Whatnot app on your computer or on your phone. And come on and join us and be a part of the fun. So we have men's and women's clothing, and I have some pretty good stuff.
That's for Mike Curtis.
Yeah. So thank you for being here, and I want you guys to have an excellent.
Have a great week.
Yes.
Those of you that celebrate Halloween, please be safe. Happy Halloween.
And don't eat too much candy. It's bad for you. I don't know if it's still there or not.